I've never seen it.
You know that messes it up, right? Well, I guess we won't do video for this one. We won't even put this one out.
No.
This is
broing
out.
You won't be able to use anything from this.
The Clap. The sequel to The Drop, where the baby gets an STD.
Wait, the sequel to The Slap?
The Slap? Wait, that is a thing, right?
The Slap is a TV show.
Slap was a TV show.
That everyone made fun of.
Everybody made fun
And it turned out anyone who did watch it, I didn't see it, was like, it was actually pretty good.
I'm sure it was, but you can't once it starts rolling, pop culture like jokes, you can't recover.
That's what didn't happen with The Drop, which was Jermaine and Aparna were in a movie where someone drops a baby.
No.
Yeah.
The Drop is a movie with
Gandolfini. Right?
Yes, James Gandolfini and Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy.
We're thinking of the same movie. It's where Jermaine has to go shove the baby into a bar to pay off the debt.
That Drop
what
was
am
a
I
good
thinking
movie.
of?
I enjoyed it.
I did love that Drop, but this Drop also is a movie with Jermaine and Aparna where a happily married couple tries for a baby and then they go and someone drops the baby. Someone just drops the baby is the crux of
it's kind of like
whole
Raising
thing.
Arizona, right?
It is, except this is Drop in California.
How far in do you think they drop the baby? Early on in the movie or later in the movie?
I think it's what kicks off the opening credits. It hits the ground and it freeze frames. The Drop.
Dude, Jermaine was good in Murder at the End of the World. If you guys haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that one.
It's good.
He's so charismatic. It's infuriating.
I used to like him until I saw how charismatic he was, and now I don't like him anymore.
I mean, that'll happen.
I loved him until I saw how likable he was, and now I'm not. No, he's
what happened
absolute
is he would
best.
understand where you're coming from in a way that would make you like him.
I know. No, there's not an unlikable thing in that dude.
He is so. He's just so. He opened for my last Hard to Say show and just came out and I'm like, well, this is gonna be a weird energy to follow because this is the most charismatic person in the history. I was backstage with Aparna, who was also on the show, and he was doing a bit about having a hard time relating to people, and Aparna was just going, what is he saying? It's the most universally beloved energy in the history of anything.
You're funny having Aparna and Jermaine open for you. You're the opposite of Aries Spears, who is known for having people who bomb open for him.
Oh, really?
I've always said that
them.
You're the opposite of Ari Spears.
A lot of people are saying that about you.
Which is crazy because here goes my impression of him.
Roll camera.
I'm more of a Gemini Spears anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if that's a thing.
I don't know. I got that though.
So he has people open for him who suck?
Yeah, I've heard he has. I've heard that he likes to have white comedians who suck open for him, and he'll drop right before they go on. You got to be squeaky clean and don't do this and don't do that.
How have I not been called?
That's crazy. What is such?
That's my whole act. That's actually what I'm good at. Yeah,
that's so funny. So he wants to. I want everyone to be happy to be there.
I want the whole show to be a good experience
for you to have a good time.
Yeah. No, if I ever have a choice of who opens for me, I like to go, all right, what would be a good show?
Mm-hmm. I opened for someone who wasn't really. This is the first time I ever did a full feature weekend, and I'm not going to say their name. They're someone but they're not quite a stand-up. They're more of a person who had some notoriety and did stand-up. And then they told me to stop doing some jokes that were doing well.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
They were like, don't do this one or this one. I just don't have any jokes that hit like that.
Okay.
And I was like, this is such insane feedback.
What'd you say to him?
I said, okay. And then I did them because they didn't watch my set anymore anyways.
Yeah. I
just couldn't believe. I expected that every time after that I would get that specific of feedback. What it really is when you feature someone is they watch your set maybe almost once total throughout 5 shows.
It's like watching a movie a clip at a time on TBS. Yeah. You're like, I think I've seen that movie.
Right. They've seen your comedy like you've seen Shawshank when you're 13 years old, which is just 8 minutes a time. But I expected every time for the headliner to come tell me to not do stuff.
Every time you open for a different person or that same
and then the next time I opened for someone was Tom Wilson, who was Biff from Back to the Future.
I've heard of the nicest
and
dude.
is the absolute nicest person ever. And he's just that's so funny. He's like, do you mind if I riff off of your closer and have fun with that?
What a sweetheart.
Then he just all
Go
he does
for
is
it, Biff.
crush. And it's a person in the similar vein of Tom is a serious comedian and does stand up and also does sculpting and visual art. But
Did he have his tuba when he was with him?
No, just his guitar.
Oh, cool.
Gotta be tough to take on the road.
And
I bet, yeah.
But he's, people are coming for a specific reason for him that he kind of wants to go against, but he doesn't deny its existence. People are coming and yelling Biff. He actually did an incredible thing where he opened a show with he has a song and a thing about not wanting to be known as Biff, but then he hits all of the catchphrases and calls a guy in the crowd butthead. It like fulfills what everyone wants to happen.
Yeah, and then you can move on.
And then you can move on. But if you just go up and you're like, if you don't acknowledge you're Biff, people are gonna be like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I opened for kind of like the polar opposite of that.
Yeah, was it Dustin Diamond?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Well, he doesn't listen anymore, so you don't.
No, he doesn't listen to anything anymore. Yeah.
Dustin Diamond just constantly wants to be known as Biff from Back to the Future.
I remember getting yelled at by him when he arrived at the comedy club I worked at because it said Screech on some of the advertising around.
Yeah, he was not. No.
And he didn't want you to.
No.
And you went back. Well, did you want there to be a person here?
Yeah.
To watch?
He didn't. When I opened for him, he didn't do any radio. He didn't do any promotion. And like like me and the other comedian were like in the car. We're like picking him up. We're like, don't fucking say Screech.
Don't even come to a quick halt.
Yeah, don't no. And as soon as we
gotta get my brakes fixed before we do this, he'll be offended.
As soon as we got to the fucking club, the girl at the front was like, Screech! And I was like, oh.
He shoots her.
Yeah, well, then he stabs somebody or
don't know this guy. Stop having known him.
Oh my God, I know it was ridiculous.
I just think you should be happy anyone attends anything.
I opened for Tom Green, and he's one of two people that ever told me not to do anything. Louis C.K. when I opened for him, he said, "Don't use that F word. Save something for me." That's what he said. And one time when I opened for Bo Burnham, he asked me not to do a really intense 9/11 joke, and I was like, "That's okay. If I'm opening, that's like that wasn't like."
I don't mind if it's like that's not within the tone of my show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I minded that's funnier than I can be.
Yes.
No, that's ridiculous.
Tom Green said, "Don't." I used to do a joke about the E.T. ride at Universal Studios, and he asked me not to do it because he was married to Drew Barrymore. And I was like, I don't mention Drew Barrymore. I don't even really talk about the movie. I just say the ride, and it's about how I wrote it when I was a kid with my dad. And he was like, "Well, I was married to her, and my fans know that." And and then he called her a C word, and I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Whatever." And then he was pleasant to me the whole weekend. And I'll even say, he did. And for another guy known for other stuff, he would do 45 to an hour of stand up, and he was newer to stand up at the time, and so I know he's gotten better over the years. I really feel like he's put in the work doing stand up, whether you're a fan or not. But he was put in the work. He was doing stand up, and then at the end he would go, "All right, what movie do you want to hear a quote from?" And he would do it, and then he'd go take pictures with everybody, and it was pretty cool. But it was just a weird experience.
You got to acknowledge it. It's so weird.
Adam, can you remove your 6-minute chunk on my cellar door? I know this is gonna sound specific.
I know you keep putting your bum on things up there, and it's really hard to follow you with my bum on things after that.
Actually, I can't even carpool with you to the show because I can't ride in cars with boys when I'm on my way to the venues anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, can I just make sure you have 2 balls before I go up there? You got a testicular thing.
I thought we were doing Drew Barrymore.
Famously, a ball removed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't know that at all.
Just for fun.
I did name my one ball I have left Drew Ballymore. That's stupid. I don't know why I did that.
Well, this is the podcast for everyone with the references you'll all get.
If you're ready for some 90s, 90s references are what we're gonna get on this one.
It's like this is the kind of podcast where we'll reference Jackass episodes by the title of the episode.
I'll be referencing Wild Boys episodes.
Oh my God, I was so into Wild Boys.
We're here with Uncle Vito and Dom, and I don't know Bam Margera's mom's name.
Ape. Didn't he call her Ape or something? April. It was April.
That's right. I only heard her name when she was being shoved downstairs by her son.
Just being absolutely domestically terrorized.
It seems so cool at the time, and then now I'm like, I'd be mad if someone built a vert in my house.
Yeah.
If someone built a half pipe in my living room, I'd probably get upset.
Snuck in the middle of the night and fucking hit me with a bag of flour.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I remember being like, well, they're on TV, so I'm sure they're getting a bunch of money back to the parents. And then as I got older and got into comedy and started getting comedy gigs, you're like, oh, it was Viacom. They're not making shit.
Right. Bam Margera made $16 to slit his uncle's throat. Anyways, speaking of highbrow television and films, we're here. Today's has never seen it. We're here with Adam Newman, who wrote something today, who has never seen The Whale.
Oh, okay.
And we're here with Chris Calogero, who I don't know if he's seen The Whale or not.
I haven't.
You have not seen The Whale?
No.
I gotta tell you, I want to see The Whale really bad, and my wife is not interested in watching it with me, and she's been out of town for a week, and I knew this was coming up, so every single night for the last week, I've been actively not watching The Whale.
Actively not watching The Whale.
I get up, I make a cup of coffee, I don't watch The Whale. I actively do not watch
Another
The Whale.
day, not whale watching.
feels-
whale watching. Do they call them whale watchers?
The
Fans
Whale.
of The Whale?
Yeah, they're whale watchers.
The Whale, the Watchers.
The WWs.
Great.
But I think I've seen a clip of the same clip of The Whale more times than I've seen certain other movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They actually go by Whale Watching Federation, and unfortunately, there's another lawsuit with the World Wildlife Foundation for a logo change.
They will not stand.
I'll tell you, going in, I don't even know what the scene is. I just know one reference because on my podcast, Nick Maritato, who hosts mine with me, references a Milky Way scene constantly.
On your podcast about cats?
On my podcast about cats. This is why I did this movie, because we were recently, because we'll just go into, we were recently talking about The Whale for whatever, I think we were talking about me feeding my cat too much or something, and he referenced the scene with the Milky Way, and that's the only thing I know.
Cat.
What's that?
Then he just roasted
Oh
your
my
cat.
God. My cat he was roasting more me for feeding him, but my vet has called my cat a beefy boy on multiple occasions.
Beefy boy?
Yeah, beefy boy.
I thought it was odd of you to excommunicate your cat for trying to bring up sexual assault allegations in its younger years, but he'll be back around.
They always come back.
This feels like a good time to do this. It feels like a bookend for this movie when Brendan Fraser presents the Best Actor Oscar. Right, so they usually get the people who won the year before.
Did he do that?
And so he did do that just the other day at the Oscars.
Did he win Best Actor for this movie?
He won Best Actor.
did.
For
Oh
this
wow,
movie.
I didn't know that. Well, okay.
Do you have a conception of it?
Of the whale?
Yeah.
I know he's very large.
Okay.
I know Brendan Fraser is in a fat suit and he's very large.
Yeah.
And so
The Whale is all about he is who ate Gilbert Grape.
Oh, it's a sneaky sequel.
It is a sneakquel.
I feel like he ate Gilbert Hamburger, because a grape wouldn't really add a whole lot of.
Gilbert Hamburger's my mechanic. Leave him alone.
Gilbert Hamburger is somehow it feels racist to an ethnicity I haven't locked down just yet.
Kyle and I were just like, is that bad?
Gilbert Hamburger and his assistant.
Gilbert Hamburger is Neil Hamburger's manager and brother.
Neil Hamburger's manager is the hamburger helper.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Oh, man. And the one they don't talk about is the Hamburglar.
That's the guy who rips him off.
Yeah, he's been stealing all his money.
What's the hammer guy's name? Who's hits the watermelon with the hammer?
Oh, Gallagher.
That's Gallagher's brother of Neil Hamburger.
Yes.
Is the Hamburglar. He just steals his entire act.
Oh my God.
If you guys thought talking about Tom Green's stand-up was for no one, here's Neil Hamburger.
The Neil Hamburger extended universe.
I mean, I don't want to spoil any of the script, but as soon as you read the title, you're gonna realize the angle we took on.
It's actually a crazy coincidence, because if you look at the before and after I put on the sign behind me, is Encino Man, which is Encino Man and Nope put together.
Wow.
So I don't know. We should probably
just get into
do
it.
the script.
Yeah.
Yeah. How far into this are we? Like 18,
13 minutes.
Okay.
Is that good or bad? You need a riff for a little longer.
No, none of it matters at all.
Nobody's ever said yes to, do you need to riff a little longer?
This is Riff Riders. So what do you want to preface?
Okay, so
I like when the title page comes into play.
Yeah.
all right. Well, so I mean, you can go ahead and read the title if you'd like.
That's you.
Okay. Well, you'll know the angle I took immediately. I called this The Whale 1, Encino Man 2. So this is I don't know anything about it, but I imagine this is a sequel to Encino Man.
The Whale 1.
The audacity.
Well, I don't have anything to follow after, but I figured, it'd be a sequel to Encino Man, where he gained a lot of weight because he's been here a long time now.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
I told this
those
to my
couple years where Brendan Fraser was just a guy out of time when Encino Man and Blast from the Past were coming out. And
Oh
you were
my
just
God,
Like, wouldn't
yeah.
it be crazy if we showed Brendan Fraser grunge twice?
And George of the Jungle, he's out of society, too.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Before, you know what? I also just because. So I watched some. Maybe we should do the script first and then talk about.
Yeah,
some
let's
stuff.
do it.
Okay, so this is there's only 2 roles in here. I'll do the narration.
Okay.
And which one of you thinks you can do a better Pauly Shore impression?
Oh, good question.
I'll give it to you, Chris.
Yeah, I'll take a crack at
All
it.
right,
I've talked to him on the phone before.
That's a credit. That's more qualified than I am. Okay, so you'll do the Pauly Shore lines. Kyle, you'll be Link, and
Great.
So you're Stony. Kyle, you're Link, and I'll read the narration. This is the Whale 1, Encino Man 2, Chiron, Encino 2022. Interior, dark apartment, night. We open on a large mound under a pile of blankets on a dusty couch. The only source of light is from a flickering arcade game against the wall, which quietly repeats, Radmobile, Radmobile. In the strobing light of the game, we see that this apartment looks like it's straight out of an episode of Hoarders. There's a musical knock on the door. Tap, 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 tap. Stony.
Linkage, what's up, buddy? Ow, ow!
The mound on the couch slowly rises, blankets cascading off of it, and the head of a balding, puffy Link, Brendan Fraser, emerges. He claps on a lamp on an end table, rubs his eyes, and stretches out his arms, the last blankets falling off of him and revealing that he has put on significant weight since the last time we've seen him. No judging whatsoever, but he's easily over 600 pounds. In groggy Brendan Fraser voice, regular Brendan Fraser voice, he says towards the door,
It's open.
Stony flows, which is Pauly Shore, flows into the room with the Larry David version of his old fro and weighing probably around 400 pounds. He's wearing an enormous backpack.
Linky, the Lincoln Memorial. Looks like you cleaned the place up, buddy. You're looking buff.
Did you bring it?
What? No. Hello? How are you, Stony? How's your life in 2022, 20 years after we were in high school?
Sorry.
It was supposed to be like, what? No, hello? How are you, Stony? All right, yeah, no problem.
I realized. Can we get another read on that?
It's all good. This is we're going in cold, you know?
We can run it back.
All right. Get him in from a did you bring it?
Did you bring it?
What? No hello? How are you, Stony? How's your life in 2022, 20 years after we were in high school?
I want to hear all about it, Stony. I really do. But my blood sugar is really low, so if you don't mind forking it over first, I'd really appreciate it.
All right, bro. I get it. Your tum-tum's a little angry. But don't sweat it. Stony brought you some grindage.
Stony and Link do the little weasel finger handshake thing and gross mouth noise. Very well done. That was good. In one swipe of his arm, Stony clears the coffee table of junk food wrappers and plastic bags full of what we can only imagine is poop. Then he dumps the contents of his backpack on the coffee table. 3 Musketeers bars fall for the next minute and a half. Stony and Link look at each other, look at the pile, then back at each other, and at the same time they yell,
All for one and one for all.
Right Said Fred's I'm Too Sexy begins to play, and we fall into a 6-minute montage of Stony and Link devouring hundreds of 3 Musketeer bars.
I was born in the wrong time.
I was born in the right time. Ah-ooh!
When it's over, they're both in a food coma on the couch, unable to move, covered in chocolate.
Why were you gone so long, man?
Bro, I had to do 30 days in county. I just got out this morning.
Wheezing the juice again?
We see a close-up of Stony's permanent red stain on his upper lip, like the Kool-Aid stains kids used to have when we were young from so many years of wheezing the juice.
Yeah, bro. They really cracked down on that since COVID. Mouth on the spout and whatnot.
Since COVID? I still can't believe you guys were so afraid of that COVID shit.
Yo, chill, bro, Roken. The weasel likes wheezing juice and grub, not wheezing oxygen, bro.
I'm just saying, try getting chased by a female woolly mammoth after you turned their young into a blanket. Really puts what's scary into perspective. A little... a little is a bunch of nothing if you ask me.
Hey, you mind if I turn on the tubage?
Yeah, sure. Here's the dark magic brick thing.
Link tosses him the remote control, and Stony turns on the TV.
Check it. My 600-pound life. I love this show.
This show's bullshit, man, and that doctor's a dick.
Chill, my prehistoric jabroni. He's helping people.
How is he helping? By telling them to eat less? By stealing their fat reserves? He's scamming them.
Hey, remember when you first got here and you saw that poster on Dave's wall of the Betty with the big gazongas?
Yeah, of course. And now I've grown 2 beautiful gazongas of my own thanks to the plentiful food of your time. And now this little troll doctor wants to take them away from me.
You gotta calm yourself, Angelinka Jolie. Nobody wants to steal your cones.
Sorry, I got worked up. I'm sensitive about how you all take the availability of food for granted, and I really love my melons.
So do I, Bart and Link. Can I see him again?
There's no world where this guy knows what Bart and Fink is.
I don't know if I get it. Link lifts his shirt to show his hairy caveman man boobs and nipple piercing, and Stoney sucks on them a little, and then they make out for a little bit.
Well, I gotta get going.
Oh, okay. Later, Stoney.
Later, being John Linkovich.
Oh, are you coming to my thing later?
What thing was that again?
I'm taping my special for 800-pound gorilla.
You know I'll be there.
You know what I'm calling it?
What?
800-pound gorilla presents 800-pound gorilla.
Clever.
Oh, if you run into Dave, can you tell him I put him on the guest list?
Oh, you didn't hear about Dave?
No. What happened?
He went back to his parents' pool and dug up a frozen saber-toothed tiger, and when it thawed out, it ate him.
Ah, bummer, dude.
Totally.
A mask won't save you from that. What about that bully Matt from high school? What happened to him?
He's a senator.
And Robin?
Hand model.
Wow. Good for her.
End. Anyway.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were going to...
Be
you
better?
said you had a take on it. I didn't know you were going to just nail it. All right, what we're going to do is take a quick break, and then we'll be right back to talk about the whale. 21 minutes.
So anyway, whipped that up yesterday.
Nice.
You mean over the past year? This is a first. I also haven't seen the whale.
Are we
I don't have
on,
a
or
lot
are
to
we
bring this.
in between?
Do you want to take it? Do you want to do anything? You want to get some water? Go to the bathroom?
Oh no, we've been here 15 minutes.
I don't know. No,
gotta
we're
take a
back.
shit.
We're
I gotta
back.
take a shit.
It happens sometimes.
It does.
It does.
You show up and you gotta go.
I've pooped before.
I done it. Yeah.
My other podcast, Never Pooped, is I'm taping down the street, and it's actually it's a rough room to be in.
You ever have somebody cancel because they're like, I did it. It happened.
It's like you not watching the whale, except you do poop before you're supposed to go on. Never pooped it. Is that Never Shit It?
Never
All I really know about the whale, I think you definitely nailed it. Once again, I like that we're becoming even more specific, and we're referencing an indie comedy label, 800-pound gorilla.
Yeah.
Well, just everyone seems to have a special coming out on there right now.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone. Yours
Do you
is
have
on
one?
there, right?
No,
You're
no.
Blonde Medicine Boy this time.
Yeah, I'm Blind
around.
Medicine, yeah. Oh, but I've done a
no, I
record with
don't.
800-pound gorilla. There's no shade to 800-pound gorilla. They're putting out great stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it seems like a lot of people have specials on there. Why wouldn't?
What are some people's specials you don't like?
Oh, that I don't like?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm thinking like more independent, more closer to our friend group as possible.
Okay. Sure. We got.
All right, how much time you got? Also, it's 800-pound gorilla. This is an 800-pound man potentially. So
Yeah.
it's right there for
I
you.
really have no clue. I just don't know what I've even written the whale for like before and afters and stuff on here.
Yeah.
And it's just one of them I have to Google to get the plot. Sometimes
I don't know the plot. I know that every scene, trailer, clip, still I've seen seems to be him in a dark room. And
yelling at his daughter. That's what I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I
Yeah.
guess his daughter's in there, but I just subbed out.
so
Pauly
much
Shore.
of it for me, for what I know and bring to it, is mostly just the campaign for Brendan Fraser to get attention. And I don't mean that in a bad way, like he wants attention.
No.
I mean like he is
Like
great.
good
And
attention.
let us, we are happy he is back. Even like the Brendan Fraser assance, like the Renaissance and stuff, people are very into. And I love Brendan Fraser. And I
I've
love
always
The
liked
Mummy.
Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
And I
Airheads is one of my favorite movies of all time
love
from being
Airheads.
when I was a kid.
I think
Airheads.
Airheads is one of those movies that you can't find anywhere anymore.
You're right, because
Yeah.
I tried. My wife hadn't seen it, and I was like, I'm gonna.
There's
that's the
Airheads,
worst
there's
showing it.
Clerks and Dogma that are difficult to find because the rights are wherever and they're all vaulted up places. So
I saw Airheads in theaters.
Wow.
Yeah, I was pumped.
I couldn't tell you the first time I saw it, but I definitely saw it on Comedy Central 40,000 times.
Absolutely.
I think I watched it once not on Comedy Central and I was like, oh, it's different.
Yeah.
Because they cut 20 minutes out of it or something.
Isn't that
like
mind blowing? The first time I
Yeah.
saw RoboCop was like the TV edit, and then when I saw what they actually do in that movie, I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
That's how I was with Shawshank, and they alluded to they were all friends in the shower
Oh yeah,
on TBS.
But you
They're
don't.
like, and then they just shake hands and then they leave, and then that one like slick guy just walks out into the courtyard and gives a thumbs up to everyone, and he's cool.
You're like, damn, the shower seems pretty chill.
Yeah. Oh, they get one of those prison handshakes.
The
when we
hot
get in
water
there.
doesn't go away. I mean the movie edits of or the TV edits of movies is one of my favorite things.
Oh,
I think Pulp Fiction was something I saw for the first time on TBS or TNT, or at least like parts of it, where you just like they don't even try and attempt to have the mouths line up or anything.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
I love that.
Oh my God, Big Lebowski has this is what happens when you feed a soldier scrambled eggs.
Yeah,
Really?
And they switch between that and this is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps.
Find a Stranger in the Alps. I've heard.
Yeah, it's both in the he says it multiple times.
Right.
He says it in this. It's the same version of it.
Incredible.
Scarface has this is how you eat pineapple. You ever eat pineapple?
Wow.
And it's like what? Like just cut it out.
It's a lost art form. I think that this isn't a movie, but my favorite censoring of all time is ludicrous radio edits from Word of Mouth. You remember his like this is like his old rap. This is one of the first CDs I ever had. But he would like have chicken noises and like and stuff when he was cussing, and I'm just like, this is perfect.
So good.
This is great because there's so much cussing. And then you hear it actually, and you're just like, I like the chicken noises.
The chicken adds something.
Yeah,
to it.
sometimes it's better.
Or like a donkey noise for ass or something like that.
Beautiful.
But
artistic.
really, The Whale, I wonder, we just got through Oscar season, and I wonder lots of times about these. Naiad was one that someone did on here, the movie, where it's like these like very singular performance-based movies that kind of then disappear the moment the Oscar season is not around anymore.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's going to happen with Brendan Fraser. He showed up in Killers of the Flower Moon.
He was fun in that.
He was very
a minute.
fun. And then I just wonder where this is going to go for him.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll shoot this movie. If any, we'll get a
like
Kickstarter.
avoided in his Renaissance redoing the stuff from the 90s that he got all the attention for. There has not been a Blast from the Past 2, or which could be applicable to having Fallout Shelters again, or
Airheads
Encino
2
Man
could
2.
be cool
Airheads
because
2 would be amazing.
They're all still around, and a lot of bands are getting back together.
And also the music industry's changed so much, man. We
Yeah.
could do a little.
How do we get
could rip
Spotify?
on-
I think they're all
Airheads
ripe
trying to
for it.
Breaking Spotify's head. That's so good, man.
I think they're all ripe for being remade, especially because most of his co-stars in all of his movies need work.
Except Adam Sandler.
Except Adam Sandler,
And
who would
Steve
seem
Buscemi.
willing to do the work.
Oh yeah.
Airheads is maybe the exception to
Maybe.
that. But I'm like, he was in a lot of these movies with people. I'm like, I think that Pauly Shore would take the call.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think though that to your point about Brendan Fraser winning the award was like we all just wanted him back. It was like fun to see him back, and I feel like then the movie won the award just because it was nice to have Brendan Fraser back.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't familiar enough with any of the performances really to be like, do any of these people deserve this? What's the nuance between the best and the fourth best performance of a year?
Who's your friend that's voting? I think,
Right. Is it a good story? And will it be nice?
We can do a follow up because I'm watching The Whale tonight.
You finally get to stop not watching.
I can
it.
watch
I
it
know.
now. Yeah.
Tonight I'm not gonna have not watched The Whale later.
Yeah, no. On my way home, I'm gonna get a bunch of Three Musketeers bars, and I'm watching The Whale while my wife's out of town.
I'm gonna set the phone up on my
That's what
my
I
little
thought you were
phone
gonna
holder
say.
and start watching The Whale.
Just start watching it. I've seen so many people watching movies in their cars in Los Angeles. If you're like in traffic or a little bit and you look over and someone just has their like on the steering wheel or holding it right here, and you're just like, this is insane. I can't control my life.
Makes sense. This place. The driving is.
It is bonkers. I saw a dude with drumsticks in his car the other day, just on his steering wheel, full on just
The ice cream?
drumsticks. Yeah, just whacking, playing
Trying to
a
get to that
Rush
little
drum
bottom.
solo with his drumstick ice cream cones.
They gotta be real frozen.
Yeah,
Even we're talking about The Mummy is so good.
I like
The Mummy
Brendan Fraser
Returns
Mummy.
is good.
He did. Yeah.
The Scorpion King is fine. It's whatever. It's no longer a Brendan Fraser thing.
Oh man,
It's
go
like a
look
Shove
at
the Rock
that.
thing.
Go look at the Rock CGI
In the
face
Mummy Returns, at the end of the Mummy Returns.
It's
the absolute worst
Some
thing.
of the worst CGI that you'll ever see.
I used to have a game for the PC called Nickelodeon Movie Maker that had like All Real Monsters and the Rugrats and sort of like the mid to late 90s Nickelodeon properties, and it had to be multiple CDs would have to be put in or taken out depending on where in the you could just drag them and make them say their catchphrase to each other, and that's what The Rock looks like in The Mummy Returns.
So
is
bad.
the Nickelodeon or like the Lego games for PC where it's so bad that you can't believe they put it out.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, now, we have, it looks, but it is so, when people are like the CGI and the Marvels was lacking, and you're like, if you watch the the Mummy Returns,
Oh my God.
where they're clearly just, they need The Rock to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so horrific. It's like they green screen. They just used YouTube green screen downloads or something to put. It's absolutely insanity.
That's funny. I'm trying to remember the first like bad CGI I'm trying to remember was when they redid some Star Wars movies. I'm trying to remember the Star Wars CGI that I saw.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Lucas like added more
Yeah.
band members and stuff in
Yeah.
the scenes at the cantina as well.
And there was the early scene with Jabba and Han where he like steps on his tail or something, and
Yeah.
it's.
Okay, yes.
I think that was a bad.
I think
as a kid, you're like, I'm watching Star Wars at a movie theater, and then you get like a little older, and you're like, what?
yeah.
Why did they shit in my cereal? Like, what is this?
It would be fun to have a podcast where you remember Star Wars changes wrong and just put it out there and get people upset. Or you're just like very, very confidently misremembering what happens. We did a live show of this at Union Hall one time, and Will Miles had never seen Star Wars and was doing his Star Wars script and called someone like C2D3, and someone goes,
Oh my God.
and we stopped, and Will Miles was like, what? And they were like, see, that's not his name.
I didn't see
And
it.
we're like, yeah.
It's beautiful.
This is also
What
the
is
third
this?
scene in this episode, like of their live show. We've done like a whole thing. I'm pretty sure Woody Allen had been beheaded in an Annie Hall script a minute ago, and then you touch Star Wars and misremember it on purpose, and people are just like, "Oh, come on."
I don't know that if you put it out on the internet, people will get that mad though.
Yeah, people are pretty rational on there about
They're
Star
pretty
Wars.
rational about Star Wars. Too.
In a live show, that is fun, though.
Especially when you misremember Han as a woman. I
Oh,
think that
God.
people they're pretty sane group of people.
We'd be pretty chill about that.
Anyway, so I wrote this yesterday, and I was thinking about it like all morning, and I had therapy, and I told my therapist, I was like, yeah, when we're done, I got to write this script, and she was asking, and so I whatever. It's like, and I'm not normally pitching ideas to my therapist, but I told her what this was. I go, yeah, and I was like, have you seen Encino Man? And she goes, no. My therapist said no, and I was like, well, I'm doing a thing with the whale, and I'm going to make it the sequel to Encino Man, and she like didn't get the reference and just kind of stared at me, and she goes, that sounds creative.
Oh man. That's when you're like, should I rethink the bit?
I know. I was like, is my therapist going to shake my confidence in this right now?
I could see that working. Hey,
Well, she said, I know you work really hard, so I'm sure it'll be good.
Oh my god.
Because I tell my therapist I work hard.
This is why you can't go to that stuff.
Therapy?
To the stuff,
Yeah.
the therapy
Yeah.
stuff.
Therapy.
How else would I come up with material if I don't tell you what my therapist reacts to my jokes? You guys didn't like that one? Well, my therapist, that's my whole act now.
All right, we got a couple of games we're going to play here on the podcast.
Okay, tell you one more thing with this
You
real
can
quick.
tell us as many more
When we were
things.
riffing on the podcast, I didn't do it on this, but Danny Solomon, who's been on the show, also had a funny idea. He liked the idea of Brendan Fraser's characters being switched in Encino Man and this, where they went back in time. So like if the Brendan Fraser from The Whale had to go back in time and just got immediately like killed by a woolly mammoth or something like that. I thought about that too. That's also a fun
like
idea.
he goes prehistoric.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll let you come back on and do that one.
I know.
Wait,
Get
the bonus
Get
whale-
Danny on that one.
Would it be the Whale 2 and Encino Man 3?
The Whale 2 and Encino Man 3.
Yeah.
Back to my roots.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Wait, what was the name of the one? The other
It's called
time
Roots.
travel one? No, I know Roots.
Yeah.
We're
If
thinking
you
of
could
the
work
same
in
thing.
some ideas from Roots.
This
into
was
it.
before we. So I told you I'm rewatching Community, and I'm watching with Bailey, who's never seen Community, and LeVar Burton is famously in Community as LeVar Burton.
Oh, right.
As this like huge reveal, and she's like, "What?" And so I have to then explain. I'm like, "Here's another thing, Star Trek. I'm not just reading Rainbow. To her, he's only reading Rainbow."
Mm-hmm.
And then Britta is like, "Can you imagine bouncing a check to Kunta Kinte?" And Bailey is like, "Who's that?" And so I'm like, "Well, look, I'm not the person to explain Roots to you." And like,
But I'm also not the one who wants it.
historic context and like, well, it is this and this. It's just kind of better if you just Google it because I don't want to misremember Roots at my girlfriend.
We watched Roots in junior high school.
Really?
And this is in New Hampshire, where there was only white people in my
Yeah.
high school, and it was like an assembly type thing where the whole grade would go watch it in like a big room.
It's crazy to watch that in the state where the motto is live free or die. Because then you watch Roots and you're like, oh, only half of that was the option for them.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we watched it all back then. Probably around the same time we were
It's like a
watching
4
Rainbow.
VHS. I remember that.
It was 8 VHSs, I believe.
It's like
yeah.
a big,
It was a big
bulky
set.
VHS thing.
Yeah, that takes up a lot of room on the
I remember seeing
shelf.
commercials for the set.
Yeah.
That was, I never have seen it, but I have seen those commercials for the set. So
Yeah.
I'm an ally.
An ordering. I remember they advertised it.
Anti-slavery. I am anti-slavery.
Big time. Huge.
If I could play devil's advocate here for a minute.
I did love that movie. You ever seen The Devil's Advocate?
If I could play devil's advocate here for a minute, I
And
just
then you
play the
Robert
movie on a TV
Al Pacino.
behind
Yeah.
me. Sorry, guys. If I could just play devil's advocate here for a second, play a clip of it, and
What a
just
long
come
bit.
back,
Long
play
bit.
a literal full minute of it.
Hour and
gotta-
40 minutes.
You just got to play the God is an absentee landlord.
Yeah. Bad Keanu Reeves accent. I loved that movie, though.
Only one VHS too. If I could say more things I like about it more than Roots. One VHS.
Probably comes in at about 98 minutes.
Yeah, only 4 laser discs.
It's me returning Roots to Blockbuster, having not rewound it.
It doesn't fit
and I'm
through
just
the
making
slot.
them rewind it for me. Could you just do that for me, actually?
They have 8 of the rewinding machines. That would be a fun one to return, though. You're just like 8 in the slot. But
I have
like,
an
people are
unpaid
waiting behind
intern who rewinds it for me, actually.
by
All right.
hand.
With a pencil, right?
Yeah.
I remember doing that with cassette tapes.
Yeah, you got to use a big fat Sharpie for
He's
this.
big
I
with a big
think,
fat
well,
one, yeah.
8-track I think is the worst of the technology. It's the clunkiest, and then it sounds the worst on the ribbon, and it has the most malfunctioning. But cassettes are also not a great technology. I don't think they need to. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, he loves
That sounds like
cassettes,
the horn
man.
of a cassette player. In the you know how we go through the era of what technology comes back, and vinyl has had a big resurgence, and is still I think going to stay put. But CDs have also had a little bit of resurgence. I'm glad we skipped cassettes.
Yeah, it's just
because they're
unreasonable.
clunky and difficult.
I agree. It's not. It's mostly not.
A CD
come
is
back.
the best sounding
But
technology.
very-
CD is the best sounding.
Yeah.
Very occasionally, and I think it's because it's cheap to make. Comedians and musicians, they do put out cassettes every now and again.
I remember
but
I
it's
have,
not. It's definitely not as
like
big.
a collector's item
Yeah.
more than anything
Yeah.
else.
I have like
right?
a Starburns Industries sort of improvised cassette tape thing with like Paul F. Tompkins and Dan Harmon and stuff, but it is clunky.
Yeah.
It is cool. I think it's nice to have visually. I think they look very cool, but I think that it's just unfortunately in the middle.
It's also like the technology that you can't find the song you want immediately, because even
Right.
on like a vinyl you can see the line and
Yeah.
drop the needle on it.
Yeah.
And like a tape is like
I know.
no, a little bit long. No, keep going. No.
It's like the original, like when you try and fast forward through the ads on a podcast and you get too far and then you go back and then it's 15 seconds each way and you're like, fine, I'll listen to 11 seconds of BetterHelp ad.
Not that-
and then maybe I do need it, actually.
yeah.
Not that streaming services have made it any easier. I've restarted movies more times in my life now with trying to rewind to one little scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, did you want to go 80 speed backwards?
Here was the last thing you're watching. No.
I also, this is my biggest gripe is with this, not my biggest gripe with the streaming thing is probably the industry as a whole, but the fact that it's difficult to tell it you're watching a thing for the first time again. It's like, once again, in this community rewatch, it's like, it has been watched on the Hulu account before, so it tries to skip ahead like 8 episodes sometime, and you're like, just see, you should see what I'm doing here. Right, I've gone in order. You should see what's going on.
They
It
should be
starting it again.
smarter.
Yeah.
Like the smart TV, smart whatever. Like I don't know if it's gonna be AI or whatever, but it should get to a point where it is like, all right, we get the pattern, we get what you're watching, and also if you go into the voice thing, go like get to the part where he does this, and it should just be able to go find it. That's what I think's gonna happen.
If it's a small enough job to replace, AI will do it.
Go to the part where he does this.
Go to the part where Chevy Chase is being silly or whatever.
He is silly.
Go to the part that Adam Newman got cut out of, because I did an episode of
Really?
Community, my first trip ever to
Oh,
LA.
man.
They flew me out here. They got me to do some like showcase at the Improv. This is the first time I've ever been to LA. And the next day, I had a manager at the time. I had a manager at one point. It was awesome. And he called me and he goes, "They loved you. Can you go in and audition for this part on Community today?" And I did. And then they're like, "Can you stay a week and do this part?" And I was like, "LA is easy. I don't know why anyone complains. I'm going to be famous in a minute moving out here."
Yeah.
And I did a part, and it was a fun one-day little part, and it got cut. And then that's the only time anything like that's ever happened to me.
Do you remember what episode it was supposed to have had been in?
It was I can remember what the thing was. At some point, did Joel McHale become a lawyer at some point?
He's a lawyer the
He's a
whole
lawyer
entire
to start
show.
the thing.
Oh. Okay. Well, at one point,
I should have replied to that email.
At one point,
Talk soup, maybe?
at one
I
point,
was soup.
I think the premise was he was a lawyer and he was going to leave community college or something, and he was making a commercial for his
Okay.
law firm lawyer thing.
Sure.
And I was the guy in the commercial, and it was like a really bad local lawyer
nice.
commercial. And it was a fun bit, but I think they were like, it just wasn't necessary for any sort of plot or time. Or they always tell you, they're like, they cut you because you were great. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I sucked and they hated me. And they cut it because it wasn't funny.
I was so unfunny, they changed the show.
Yeah.
They fired Dan Harmon for drinking because I was unfunny.
Yes.
Yeah.
My last community thing, then we're gonna take a break, is the once again on the rewatch, the level of funny that Ken Jeong is in this show is absurd.
Yeah.
And I didn't really pay. I think the first time I watched it through, you're so focused on what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? You're kind of like following the show and laughing along. And Abed is such a different character than anything you've seen. You're like enjoying it. Yeah. And now I'm like, Ken Jeong is making choices that like Daniel Day-Lewis would make. These are like the most insane swings I've ever seen. Jim Rash is also so funny as the
Jim
Dean.
Rash is also doing that.
And so funny that they make the Dean such a more prominent character as the show goes along.
Oh, he's super funny in that show.
But Ken Jeong and Jim Rash in particular in this show are doing things where you're like, no one would say this like this in a comedy. The rest of everyone kind of behaves in a way where you could sort of do an impression of them. But even if I got a script of a random episode of Community, I couldn't tell you how Ken Jeong would deliver any of the lines.
It's like the walk-in thing where he deletes the
punctuation.
He deletes the punctuation from all his scripts so that he doesn't have to.
Wow, that's crazy.
Figure out where to pause or whatever.
I don't want to I'm not going to compare these incredible whatever actors to. And I have nothing bad to say about Pauly Shore. I've never known him, but I went back and watched some Encino Man clips to just to be like, how's Pauly Shore talking in this, right? And by the way, best casting of my life that I've ever done. You for Pauly Shore, Chris. You so crushed that. That was really funny. And you did very well as a regular Brendan Fraser as well. But I was watching
Greg Frisch.
I was watching the Pauly Shore clips, and I didn't know this on Pauly Shore's YouTube channel not too long ago. He released from his own archives the original screen test for Encino Man, and do you know who? And it was not any of the three main people. Do you know who was playing Link? And it wasn't even Link. It was
no.
It was.
I have seen him talking to someone about it, but I don't remember who it was.
Ben Stiller. And there's a whole screen test of the whole scene, and it's not Pauly Shore, and it's not the other guy from Sean Astin.
Ben Stiller would have worked in here because there were nipples, and he could milk them too.
The tone of all three of them is so insanely different. But so Pauly Shore, I watch you watch the other guy do it, and then you watch Pauly Shore, and you're like, if it's the exact same words on a script, you're gonna get something so totally unique and different out of. So Pauly Shore in the '90s being that character was cool. It's so funny and interesting.
Rules. I watched it recently. In
the
last 2 years or whatever, and the movie rules.
I think it's the one of all of these more than like Biodome, more than other ones that I think.
Jury Duty.
I think that this is the one that I find to be funny still.
Yes, absolutely.
I reference it all the time.
And I think Guy Out of Time thing is always going to be pretty funny, and the way that the references work around this. I think Blast from the Past is even better than Encino. I think it's like
you've referenced Blast from the Past.
So I don't think I've seen
the makers of
Blast from the Past.
I love it. It's Christopher Walken.
And Walken's in that.
Oh,
and Sissy Spacek.
Yes. And they basically they build a bunker and they run out of resources, so they have to send their son up to get resources, and it's almost the same plot.
They think the bomb's gonna hit, right?
Yeah.
And then they go down
the
there.
The bomb doesn't hit, but an airplane crashes on their house while they're in the shelter, so they think the bomb hits. So they stay down there for 30 years or whatever.
Oh crap, that's awesome. That's a cool premise. Christopher Walken's like, a bomb.
I don't worry.
I just realized I can't do an impression as I was about to start it.
Hey, it's a bomb.
Hey, it's a bomb.
Oh yeah, Super Mario's in it too.
Hey, I'm walking over here. All right.
He drinks hot Dr. Pepper. I remember that from Blast from the Past. He cooks it on the stove really slowly, and then I remember doing that once when I first saw it and being like, okay, maybe this is just a joke.
That's the most Kyle. That's the most Kyle thing I can imagine. But one last thing with Encino Man, Pauly Shore as the side character, that's the sweet spot. Yes. That's why I think that one is the best one.
Yeah. He's the funny, eccentric friend.
Once again, I don't think Ben Chang could have been the main character in Community. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
If Ken Jeong's character or Jim Rash's character, the Dean, was the main character, he would just be like, I can't watch this.
Yeah.
Sean Astin, that's the other guy's name?
Yeah.
That guy, I don't know. Here's the thing. We were talking on this podcast, I think last time I was on it, or who's A lot of times, if I'm thinking like, who's my favorite actor, who's the best, I'm always in my head who's the best. I have no idea who's like legitimately good or not. I just know who I like. Sean Astin, I love from when I was a kid. Rudy's like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Sean Astin's career is incredible.
Yeah, but because you'll see Rudy, you'll see these '90s movies like Rudy or Encino Man, and they're totally different. But then even now, when I saw him on Stranger Things, I loved him on Stranger Things. He's in Lord of the Rings, and he's great in Lord of the Rings. I like him a lot. He's a guy that's been like, sometimes when you get a little older, you start feeling like
forever.
Nepo baby.
Is he? Mm-hmm. Oh, who's his dad?
Austin, Texas is named after his dad.
His dad is Austin, Texas?
His dad is Austin,
he's
Texas.
the capital of Texas.
Sean Austin.
His dad was Gomez Adams in the Adams Family TV show.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
I could see that. He's got that shape.
He's got the shape. But also, Sean Astin is great.
Imagine Gomez Adams as Rudy.
I can. His son played him. It's like a very, very easy leap we've established for me to do.
I just meant in all the Gomez garb. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you mean the Gomez Adams, not the actor who played Gomez Adams. All right, we're going to take another break, and then we're going to play before and afters. Was that you?
45 minutes.
That was me. You can cut that out.
How do you... Oh. I couldn't picture the face you were making that
I learned it from George Carlin. George Carlin it was an old bit about dogs, and he was like, "You ever do this to a dog?" And it's like, or whatever, and the dog does a thing.
George Carlin. he was the edgy guy of our time. He was the auteur of our. Remember, George Carlin was like pretty stupid. His comedy was not always like massively political, hard.
No, he had just as much
aren't
silly
dogs
and
hilarious.
Yeah. He's the guy that invented the joke. If I could lick my own balls, I'd never leave the house. He's the guy that invented that joke that every person in the world has said.
It was about H.W. Bush.
Still doing it. Comedians are still.
And
doing
it was about his bush. All right.
H.W.'s Bush. Oh no, I think that's the girl from
Howard
Arthur.
Weinstein's book. Weinstein. What's Weinstein's name? First name?
Harvey.
Oh, Harvey. That's what H.W. Bush stands for.
There was the other one.
Howard Weinstein. That's his brother, who's very respectful to
Howard
women.
Weinstein Bush.
I like Howard. I imagine Harvey Weinstein's brother was like, "Can we start no longer putting brothers on the names of all the movies that we did together? Can we do some sort of like separation situation?"
I'm just Bob.
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple games we're going to play. This first game that we are going to play is called Before and Afters.
Get ready to play Before and Afters.
How this works is multiple movies have been smashed together into one. I will read you the smashed together plot. You have to tell me the smashed together title. For instance, Encino Man would be a combination of those I didn't do yet. But you could picture it in your head.
Yes.
This is a podcast where we make everyone at home do most of the work. All right. Some other examples. Wolf of Wall Street. What are some other ones with Encino Man? I can't. The Curious Case of Bencino Benjamin Button.
I could have come up with like Encino Meteor Man or something, but you went further.
Encino Man on Fire.
Yeah.
I guess man is the easier part to use than N.
Oh my God.
Saving Private Silverman is one of the favorites here. Wolf of Wall Street, Argo and Fargo.
So you got the before and after
and some before, during,
okay.
and some Beth after Tor.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And some after F4.
But that sounds like Pauly Shore now. But
F4.
That's what's great too about if somebody had been on the who was just not familiar with the Pauly Shore voice or the Encino Man, whatever, it would have been so
my
confusing.
Reference point
Yeah, and I'm glad you knew the reference.
Entry into it. I did talk on the phone with him.
I'm
once,
curious, what was that about?
He called me buddy, and
Yes.
I was like, it was like a dream come true.
It is, yeah.
I had a friend when I was first starting comedy who was like, I know Pauly Shore, maybe he can help you, and he called me and was like, send me your tape, and I FedExed him a disc of my comedy, and he was like, just come out to the Comedy Store, bro, and I was like, oh, I'm not moving to LA yet, but he called me buddy, and I was like,
I don't
bucket
know,
list.
The good
That's
news
incredible.
is years later, he's still there.
He's still there.
So if you want to follow up with him,
Yeah, I should.
And-
Did you ever get my FedEx? I still have the tracking number.
You have 200. You have 200 missed calls from him.
Yeah.
here we go. Number one. I'll read you the plot. You tell me the title. You're more than welcome to work together or compete against me.
I'm into being in a team.
Cool. Me too.
Number one.
Unless I know it and you don't.
The potential lone survivor of a plague wanders through an empty New York City until he comes across a 7-foot-tall genie.
Okay. Maybe this is 28 Days
Oh wait,
Later.
I Am Legend.
Oh.
and then it's
Is there a genie movie that's like Legend of the something?
I am
Genie?
I am
Isn't it
what's the Shaq movie?
Oh right, the genie's. Oh, you say genie. You said Shazam.
Shazam.
7 foot tall. Okay, yeah, Shazam. So what was the first part?
Can we get
the potential lone survivor of a plague wanders through an empty New York City until he comes across a 7 foot tall genie.
Oof. I mean, I think I Am Legend is the first one.
It sounds like it could be. 20 Days Later doesn't happen in New York.
Right.
I know I Am Legend is New York.
Yeah.
So I am Le Shazam. I am
That's the French version.
I am Le Shazam.
Okay. 7 foot tall genie's got to be Shazam, and I am Legend. I don't fucking know, dude.
We're looking for I Kazam Legend.
That's insane.
I Kazam
Legend.
Okay,
Shazam is the Mandela Effect non-existent movie
that's the
starring
Sinbad,
Sinbad that
yes.
never actually existed.
Kazam, right?
Kazam.
Yes.
Sorry, my bad. That's
I
just been
am
so
whatever
prevalent.
you say, Kazam. If I wasn't, then why would you say Kazam? I don't know if that's in that movie. Probably not.
Yeah, that's his catchphrase.
It's really long. It's a full 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I Kazam what I Kazam. That's Popeye, the genie Popeye.
He misses one free throw in that movie.
Shaq?
Yeah.
I think so.
Like out of how many?
Well, they do Hackazam.
Hackazam. They do Hackazam.
Where they can't get the you can't wish for 1,000 wishes unless you foul Kazam.
I do like the Le Shazam. I don't know who we would cast in that
Le Shazam
remake.
is the French version, yeah.
Timothy Chalamet, probably.
Probably, yeah.
All right, number 2.
Timothy
We're on a
Chalamet.
roll here, everyone. That was the easy one.
Oh, man.
The potential largest cyclone in decades is approaching, and an underfunded team preps to study it, though they are haunted and hunted by a killer clown from their childhood.
Okay, so this is it.
Twitster?
Twitster is correct.
Nice.
Woo!
Twitster.
That was the
Twitster.
original name for
There
Twitter.
is no world where Microsoft Word would let me type that in.
Twitster.
My phone would break.
Dude, I typed in Twitster and it's like, we know you did Twister. And I'm like, no. And then it's like, did you mean sister? And I'm like, none of these. He's like, you meant titties. And I'm like, it's literally none of these. It's a real red squiggly line day on before and afters. Next up, which one do I want to do? Here we go. After superpowered activities are banned by the government, a superhero father joins a minor league baseball team and falls for a poetry-loving baseball groupie.
Okay, so this is Major League.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. I think it's Major League. No, that's not.
Can we read that again?
Yeah, let's do it again.
After superpowered activities are banned by the government, a superhero father joins a minor league baseball team and falls for a poetry-loving baseball groupie.
Oh, okay. So
It's not Major League.
That's Bull Durham.
It's Bull Durham, yeah.
Yeah. And the banned by the government superhero action.
I don't know superhero movies at all.
I don't know that first one. That's making me crazy.
All right, let's think about it. What movie or what movie are superpowers? I don't know that one.
Superpowers are banned by the government. What movie is that? This is making me nuts. I should know that one.
I don't know the first movie. What are you gonna do? So what do you do with Bull Durham? What's the fucking movie that can feed into Bull Durham? Something that
This is a Hollywood exec pitch meeting. Well, Bull Durham was a pitch meeting, actually.
Oh, nice.
We love Bull Durham, but what about superheroes?
What feeds into Bull Durham?
I don't know the first one.
We were looking for the Incredible Durhams.
I never would have got Incredible.
We did harmonize there a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, we really didn't hit any part in there at all.
An accident's better.
Yeah.
A good pitch has no hits.
I
refuse to let the baseball metaphor even slow down.
There's 2 pitches that didn't go together.
Next up, now they start getting tougher.
Good. I'm going good.
They're easy if you know both movies and think about it.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that's a tip for everyone listening as well. If you want to get these, know them.
I forgot all about The Incredibles.
That's a tipster,
so
a
good.
tipster for all of you at home.
It's a twitster for everybody at home. If you have any twits, give us a call. Next up, an LA screenwriter who is overwhelmed with feelings of inadequacy and by the ambitions of his freeloading twin brother, heads back to his South Dakota family farm with the savvy party animal pretending to be his fiancée.
Okay. I know adaptation. I don't know the second one. Second one is all right. Party what? South Dakota, Fargo. I don't fucking know.
We read the second.
For the twin brother heads back to his South Dakota family farm with a savvy party animal who is pretending to be his fiance.
I'm like adaptation Chuck and Larry. I don't know. I know the South Dakota one.
What's the Pauly Shore movie with the?
Is it a Pauly Shore movie?
Where he goes back to the farm. You know what I mean? He goes.
Is it like it's like it's not
It's
Father
like a
of
real
the Bride?
fish out of the. It was a real
but
fish
it's
out of the
like-
water. He's like oh, what's the name of that movie? Oh, Son-in-Law.
Son-in-law? Adaptation son-in-law.
Adaptation son-in-law is correct.
Hell yeah.
Adaptation.
Son-in-law. All right.
I thought it was gonna be Barton Fink at first, and I was like, man, 2 Barton Finks in one day.
Funny thing is I have no idea what Barton Fink is about. I was just trying to think of names that rhymed with Lincoln. That's what I got.
Honestly, it's a beautiful reference and really deepens the character.
I was funny. I wasn't thinking. Oh, whatever. Yeah.
Here we go. Final one. This one is horrible. A young chess prodigy is encouraged to harden himself to become a champion, but returns home to his father's deathbed where he entertains his father's exaggerated stories about his life.
Okay. This is searching for Big
Fish?
Bobby Fischer.
I'll give you that. It's looking for Searching for Biggie Fisher.
All right.
Searching for Biggie Fisher.
I think searching for Big Bob.
What was
Fisher.
it for? I know. I knew the Big
Finding a
Fish
diner
one.
in Los Angeles.
Searching for Bobby Fischer.
All right. I don't know. Searching for Bobby Fisher.
Searching for Big Bob Fisher is like when you're looking for a long haul truck driver to take the job of a lifetime.
Okay, we have one more game that we're going to play here. This game is called Character Card Head Guessing Game. The game, I don't know if there's a sound for this one on there. Oh, there.
Sure is.
The character card head guessing game. The game.
You didn't know that there was a perfectly produced song
No,
for
I
that
didn't.
game?
I didn't know if it was currently loaded onto the board.
Oh, okay. I don't know if we
This is
have
the board.
anything
I don't know if we have anything for this one.
that I paid somebody to professionally produce
a
for
duo of people.
me. Beyonce did it.
How this game works is the two of you will be a character from a movie or a TV show. You have to ask yes or no questions to find out what character you are. So a little bit like that heads up sort of game, right? So you won't know who you are. You can say, am I in a movie? Am I a guy? Blah, blah, blah. You'll alternate asking to try and find out who you are. If you guess and are wrong, the next person gets 2 questions. Like if you give a full-on guess, am I Pauly Shore in Encino Man? You don't necessarily have to know the character name. I'll give you the actor in the movie as counting. So go ahead and take your headphones off and plug your ears. I'm going to tell everyone at home who you are. They are Will Hunting from Good Will Hunting. Matt Damon. I don't know how to get it. Your eyes are shut and your ears are shut. And I'm just like going, what happened? Oh my God. Did you just hurt yourself with headphones?
Comedians need healthcare, man.
That was crazy.
Your headphones bit me, dude.
They bit me, dude.
Headphones bit me, dude.
All right.
That didn't sound like Pauly Shore. That sounded like David Spade in the Adam Sandler Bloody Buddy sketch. Remember that one?
No.
You want to? Can I get a bloody? It was a Adam Sandler. All the old SNL '90s dudes were there.
fellas.
It was an animated
All
thing.
the old fellas.
All the old fellas. Everybody from Grown Ups 5 and
when they were just called grown downs.
yeah, pre-grown ups.
I guess people. All right, you are a character from a movie or TV show. You, Chris, you'll go first. You'll ask the first question. You'll alternate. Once again, just trying to find out who you are. Whenever you're ready.
So I ask you.
You ask
Wait.
me. I'll tell you. You ask me. Yes
we
or no.
both asked
I
you.
thought we were
Okay.
asking each other.
No, you take turns asking me.
Am I in a movie?
Yes.
Am I in a TV show?
You're probably out of focus on the cameras now. Yes.
I'm a TV. Okay, I'm in a
No,
TV
you're not in a TV show.
I'm not in
You're
a TV
in a
show.
movie.
Okay.
Yes, you're not in a TV. You're the same person.
Oh, we're the same person?
Yeah.
I fucking
So
wasted a
so you
question.
can
I'm
ask
sorry.
again. You can
Gotcha,
ask
Noah.
again.
Hey, it's
Okay. Do I identify as a male?
Yes.
They see how progressive I asked that question?
Yeah, you did. There's a spectrum. Am I in a movie from the 90s?
Yes.
Am I most probably over the age of 40?
In the movie?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Am I a good guy?
We root for you.
Do I have any superpowers?
No. Oh. No. It's not a superpower.
Am I John Travolta from Phenomenon?
No.
I was gonna be like, am I John Travolta from Michael? I don't know.
I was going to say it was either Phenomenon or Michael.
Every movie John Travolta's in, he doesn't have superpowers, but he's like
But he
super
kinda-
at something.
yeah.
All right, 2 questions for you, Adam.
Okay. Have I ever swapped faces with anybody in a movie?
This character?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
And then one more question.
Has the actor ever swapped faces with anybody in a movie?
In any other movie?
Yeah. That you're aware of?
Yes, I think so.
You think?
I think he has portrayed someone else that wasn't his character. I don't think it's been a face swap. But
I'm imagining if in any movie has he ever physically had his face removed and another character's face removed and then got it surgically put on his own face.
No.
Okay, that just narrows it.
Really?
That narrows it down a little
Narrows
bit.
it
But
down
I think
to
he has
hundreds of
refaced
movies.
himself to portray someone else.
Okay.
Oh.
It's fun to hear a question that I think will throw you so far off from ever getting it.
Am I in any Tom Cruise movies? That you can think of off the top of your head.
I don't think so, actually.
Just eliminating a couple.
Am I jacked?
In this movie, no.
Okay.
Was the movie that you're referencing a huge hit?
Yes.
Am I a white male?
Yes.
Nice.
I have a theme song play for that.
Finally. Is it a comedy?
No.
Have I? Am I taller than 5'8"?
I have no idea, but I think so.
Okay.
Is the movie I'm in? Does the movie I'm in have any creatures in it?
No.
Was this movie directed by anyone convicted of anything? No. I was thinking Powder. You know what I'm saying? All right. Am I a comedic person out in my real life? Is
Not
my
primarily.
career based in comedy?
No. You've done being funny, but it's not your thing.
Is this an action movie?
No.
Not a comedy, not an action movie. No creatures.
You told me there's another type of movie out there?
That's all the movies I know.
90s movie, not action, male lead, not old, not ripped in this movie. Am I known in real life for being an extremely nice guy?
I would say if you asked a bunch of people, they would probably say yes.
Okay.
Like, do you think X, the actor, is nice? Most people would probably say yes.
Okay.
Does my name rhyme with Shmimano Meaves?
That's what I was
No.
thinking, yeah. Okay. But I feel like that one would have been like everybody knows he's the fucking best. I like that. I like this angle though. Does my name rhyme with I've like am I a musician in this movie?
No.
Did this movie win any Oscars?
Yes.
Do I just have like a boring day job in this movie?
Yes.
Oscar winner. Is this movie from the latter half of the 90s?
Yes. It's the half where it's all about firefighters, right? The latter half?
Yeah,
Okay.
the latter half. The hook half's the beginning.
That's true. Hook came out in 91. Hook and Shoots.
You're gonna have to edit some of this space out.
No. I actually add space in.
It's all staying in.
I add like a minute gap in between every guess.
Thank you.
Do I have a attractive female significant other?
In this movie, at any point? Yes.
Okay.
Am I Ray Fiennes from The English Patient?
No.
Oh, come on.
Do I have a British accent?
No.
Should ask that.
You got one more question, Adam.
Okay. Do I have facial hair?
Not in this movie.
Okay.
Ray Fiennes, man, Ray, you really Schindler's List, English Patient, Voldemort.
Did my performance win an Academy Award?
Your performance did not.
Did I ask if I'm hot yet?
In
I said
a couple,
rich.
I think in a
I
couple
said
different
rich.
ways.
Yeah, you gotta keep asking.
Yeah.
Do
that
you
kind
think
of-
I'm hot?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you're conventionally attractive, and people would find you hot at various times in your career.
So, is there a female co-lead with me in this movie?
I would say there's a not as prominent as your character. She would be a supporting character.
Have I ever played a mentally challenged person in any movies that you're aware of?
This is tough. I won't.
Well, it's clearly not
You-
Leonardo DiCaprio immediately. I know that.
You have been portrayed as mentally handicapped in
I
a
th-
movie.
I think that's a big clue.
You have been
This is an insane question.
you have been portrayed as mentally handicapped.
In a movie?
In a movie.
Okay, I think I go ahead, but I think
You think you got something?
I got something.
Damn, that's a good question.
So this is a drama.
Yes.
I just want to hear your guess.
Okay, is this a actor that maybe Jimmy Kimmel has made fun of multiple times?
Yeah.
Oh. Am I Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting?
You are Matt Damon.
Nice job. That was all you. You got
No,
that.
dude.
Oh, wow. It's a
I
tough
was-
one. What Team America made that a tough question.
No, but that's exactly as soon as you said he's been portrayed as it, it was like we got
It would
it.
have felt
That was
unfair
good.
saying no because it's so explicitly him as it is his name.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
he's so clearly mentally challenged.
I
Yeah.
remember there's a very funny interview with Matt Damon where someone is asking him what people yell at. They're like talking about people. What do people
Just
yell?
yell
Do
Matt
people
Damon.
yell? Do you? How about them apples at you? And he goes sometimes, but mostly people yell Matt Damon at me. And he's like, I couldn't even push against it at this point if I
man,
wanted to. But the most
hilarious.
famous thing I've ever said wasn't me.
Yeah.
Well, hey, great job, guys. Adam, thanks for being here and having never seen The Whale.
Hey, I appreciate you letting me write that 5-page script of it. There's no other reason I would have done it.
Chris, thank you so much for being here.
Oh yeah, of course.
Adam, let people know about the special in the world.
I don't know when this is going up, but Friday, March 22nd on YouTube for free. Jew versus the Volcano. Very excited about it. And I got a podcast called Pussy Boys. That's all Z's with a bunch of middle-aged dudes who love their cats.
I like Jew versus the Volcano's SEO is going to have some real YouTube competition
Yeah.
amongst the Loose Change channel.
Man, that was funny. That was a combination of funny and angry. I wasn't sure how I felt about the loose change comment, but I've decided it's funny.
Thanks.
Woo.
Woo.
We're on the edge there.
But there's another 90s movies reference for you in that movie, in that special title.
This will be so it'll be out when this comes out. So go
Awesome.
check that out.
Yeah.
Jew
Thanks for
versus the
having me.
Volcano.
This
Yeah,
is
thank you
super
very
fun.
much.
You guys were a fun group. Thanks for doing my script
Yeah.
as much justice as it could have been done.
This is great.
Yeah, Chris, anything you want people to go check out?
No, just check me out on social media at Real Chris Cal, and I'm working on my first album editing, so hopefully that'll be out later in the year.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening. Yep. Have a good day.
I've never seen it.